I get it.
Okay, well, welcome. It is 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Board of Education meeting of the Burn Island Olivia Lake Lillian Independent School District number 2534. And we will begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll follow that with our mission statement. The mission of the Bold School District is to provide all learners in Bold community education designed to develop the creativity, character, confidence, and skills essential to flourish in a changing global society. So with that, we will move on to the approval of our agenda, and we've got a couple things to change here. So under number 6, under personnel, just take it off. It's no longer happening. So number 6.
Okay.
Letter C under new business is, it says first reading of this policy, but because it's a state mandated policy, that's what all of the parts in red that were added, it's all state mandated.
Yeah.
We don't have to do like a first, second, and third reading, and we can just approve it all tonight.
We did the same thing when we did the CBD policy, drug policy.
And then letter D, the band and choir trip is 2023, not 22. We have not created it or come up with a time machine to go back in time. So we are good. So with those changes, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Todd, Sandy, or who is?
He was.
Okay, Todd was first. Sandy, would you like to second that?
Sure.
All right. Any questions or discussion on any of that? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Recognition of visitors to the board meeting. We have Nexus here with us tonight. They're going to present. We have some seniors here tonight, so thank you for coming. And we have some facility committee members and community members. Thank you all for coming out, and we will keep it moving along. Moving on to our public forum. Our public forum is placed on the agenda for regular board meetings. During this part of each regular school board meeting, up to 10 minutes of time will be allowed for district constituents to address the board. Each person or topic may have up to 2 minutes of time. This is a time of listening by the board. And if anyone would like to speak, now would be a great time to come up. If we can have you on camera and in the microphone, that would be wonderful. Would anyone like to speak? All right, Mr. Frank.
Todd Frank from Olivia. Just more of a question. I noticed you're going to be approving winter activities tonight. And when I viewed it the other night on the website or the Google Forms site, I noticed there's several vacant positions, especially in junior high girls basketball. I guess I'm wondering what contingency plans there are if coaches are not found. And I'm sure that's a concern of the board, but I have a concern as a community member and as a parent of a junior high daughter.
All right, thank you. All right, would anyone else like to speak? All right, seeing no one else, we will move on to our consent items. And we only need one motion to approve the consent items. And so our consent items this month are approving the bills for payment and approving the minutes from the September 26th, 2022 work session and September 26th, 2022 regular meeting.
So moved, Bookle.
Motion is made by Bookle,
Second, Boleen.
seconded by Boleen. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to personnel. Number 1, approve the resignation of Nathan Kubesh as the assistant wrestling coach effective 10/15 of 22.
So moved.
Motion is made by Boleen,
Second.
seconded by Sheehan. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 2, approve hiring Jessica Oseth as the assistant softball coach for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Teresa, that was you?
Mhm.
Motion- Thank you. Motion is made by Jacob, seconded by Bookto. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 3, approve hiring Dan Kicker as the assistant wrestling coach for the 2022-2023 school year.
So move she in.
Aye. Todd will make the motion. I will second that. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 4, approve hiring Jesse Manderscheid as the junior high wrestling coach for the 2022-23 school year.
So moved.
Motion is made by Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Jacobs. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 5, approve hiring Joanna Reyna as the special education paraprofessional effective 10/17/22.
So moved. Bookto.
Motion is made by Bookto,
Second, Blaine.
seconded by Boleen. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 6, Brian, is no longer happening, so we took that one out.
Okay.
So this now becomes 7, or actually 7 now becomes 6. So number 6, approve the resignation of Darren Sagadol as the JV boys basketball coach effective October 17th of 2022.
So moved. Benson.
Motion is made by Benson,
I'll second it.
seconded by Bowen. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 7, approve the 2022-2023 winter sports coaches. So it's enclosure number 1. And the question that was asked at public forum with the vacancies, there's 2 junior high vacancies and a 9th grade vacancy. I'm guessing.
We haven't discussed it. We'll
I'm guessing
fill
that
them.
Mr. Flan is not going to let there be no coaches. I mean,
Yeah, we'll get it.
and we will approve them as he gets them.
Yeah.
But do you know of anybody who would like to spend some time teaching some girls how to play basketball? That would be wonderful if you would contact Mr. Flan. All right, I will make the motion to approve the 2022-2023 winter sports coaches,
Second.
seconded by Boleen. Any discussion or questions?
Technically, typically, do we have a contingency plan when something like that happens, or is this like
Not that
one-off? Just a
not that
one-off?
I've ever known of, but
Usually find somebody.
usually we find someone.
What do we do if, per se, this worst case scenario we can't find anybody? Then what?
Like I said, we haven't talked about it, so we'll find somebody.
I don't
Somebody
know
always
if you,
steps
I don't
up.
know if you can plan ahead for it. I guess you can't force somebody to do it.
No.
I got hired as a coach when I was a teacher in Albert Lea the day before the season started. So
I think it'll come together. It always does. There's always someone that's willing to step up. So
we're gonna knock on wood.
a press board, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay.
Abstain.
All right, so we have 6. We have 1.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Todd, you should abstain too.
Yeah, Emily's on
Oh,
All right,
Abstain.
so we will do 5.
Do I have to abstain too? Because I have a grandson on there?
Okay.
All right, no
We
more
have enough to
though.
vote.
No, that's okay.
That's
All
coaching.
right.
Who's your grandson that's coaching?
Oh, not coaching.
Yeah, no, this is
Yeah,
coaching.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all right, we're good now. Okay. So 5 and with 2 abstaining, and we're good. And we're good. All right, number 9, approve a parental leave of absence from March 10th, 2022 through the end of 2022-2023 school year for Cassidy Zimmerman.
So move Benson.
Motion is made by Benson,
Second.
seconded by Sheehan. Any discussion or questions?
If anybody knows anyone that would like to fill in for Cassidy while she's on maternity leave,
Contact Mr. Benson.
give us a call. Yeah.
You need to change the date.
Yes, 2023.
Oh, yes, another. Thank you. So that'd be March 10th of 2023. All right. Should just go to school January to. It's all the same year. No, anyway. All right. We will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 10, approve hiring Ben Lergren, sorry if I butchered your name, as the junior high track coach for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Motion is made by Bookto. I will second that. Any questions, discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number, I messed up my numbering system
10.
already. 10. Can't change stuff on here. All right, approve Nathan Kubesh as a volunteer wrestling coach for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved, Boleen.
Motion is made by Boleen,
Second.
seconded by Bowen. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 12, approve Skylar Schmidt as a volunteer wrestling coach for the 22-23 school year.
11.
What?
Number 11.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion is made by Bowen,
Second, Boleen.
seconded by Boleen. Any discussion or question? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 12, gotta write that one. Approve Dustin Fisher as a volunteer wrestling coach for the 22-23 school year.
So moved, Bookto.
Motion is made by Bookdahl,
Second Benson.
seconded by Benson. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we can vote. We will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to the superintendents of the reports, and we'll begin with our superintendent's report, and I will stop talking.
All right. I did get a chance to go to a couple conferences at the beginning of the month. Went to the school law conference that's put on by our attorneys, Ratliff, Anderson, and a few other people. And it was one of the best conferences I've been to. They just did a really good job of informing us on a lot of different issues. So that was well appreciated. I went to the superintendent conference and saw a lot of good presentations there. One of the things that really interested me was a presentation by a gentleman who he works with esports teams. And that's something Freddie Riddler has been contacting me for well over a year now, talking about we need to get an esports team going. And as I start to look at this and listening to this guy, I think we have a really underserved population. We've got a lot of things We've got a lot of opportunities for kids who are in sports. We've got a lot of opportunities for kids who are doing really well in school. We've got actually opportunities for kids that are really struggling in school, but we don't really have anything in the middle. And they said that about 90% of these kids that do that want to be a part of this, aren't involved in anything. And when we look at attendance, this shows improved attendance nationwide, improved academics because they have to conform with all of the same rules that the State High School League puts out. So we're just kind of looking into how we might put something like this together. And Freddie Riddler, like I say, he's really interested in helping make sure that we do this. So I will keep you posted with what we are learning on that. Federal special ed requirements. This it's just to put this on your radar. We learned last week that the federal government is putting much more emphasis onto who can teach special ed. And the state of Minnesota is looking at how they're going to comply with this. Basically what the feds are saying that we can't have a tier 1 teacher teaching special ed classes. They don't really even want to see teachers who are teaching out of their licensure area, teaching special ed. So this would, we have 6 people in our special ed department. This would remove half of them. Statewide, it would affect about 400 teachers, and that's just the tier 1. So I don't foresee this happening, but it's something that we need to keep an eye on because we would really be struggling if we lost half of our special ed department. So the Rhode Island boiler, we were able to fix that, and I want to give big thanks to Randy Turstig, who doesn't like to say that something can't be done. And when they kept telling us, no, you can't do this or that, he kept working with different ideas, and he and Denny were able to, I don't know if they just outlasted the willpower of the guys, but they within just a few days of coming up with the solution of getting them to the inspector to say that we can do a weld job around the base of that 1956 boiler. Within about 2 days, we had it fired up and heat over there. So I don't know what the total bill is going to be on that. It's probably going to be about $7,000, but which is a far cry from the $130,000 we were worried we might have to spend on that with a portable boiler. It is still a temporary fix. We need to find something more permanent over there, but for now, for this year, that it's taken care of. And we've got the musical happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm happy to say they will be warm over there. So we had some, I don't know if anybody heard any rumblings. We've been having some trouble with the heat here in Olivia. There were some heat pumps that needed new seals, and they'd been on order for well over a month, and they finally did come in. And last week we were able to get the heat over there. It was a little cool today, but we're on top of that, and that we again think it's going to be fixed. One never knows. And then the last thing I have, Clifton Larson Allen is they're the people that bring us Lindsay, and Lindsay is going to be leaving us. So congratulations, I guess. But
No,
None
not
of us are-
congratulations.
none of us are happy about it, and I know she's not happy either. But we're gonna really miss her. Her last day with us will be December 31st, and we do have somebody that's going to be coming in and kind of learning the ropes alongside Lindsay here in the next week. for the week after. We're gonna see her showing up, and we hope she can do half as good as Lindsay, who does a phenomenal job. So
Well, thanks for all the years you spent with us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
all right, questions. All right, thank you.
All right, moving on to letter B, K through 12 principals report in our packet, and Mr. Benson will be.
Well, I made this to go along with our strategic plan. Was supposed to be put on my board report. Seemed to not be there. So this, you'll get an updated copy of this. It'll probably be, I shouldn't say probably, it'll be via Google. So this is just what we're doing so far with our strategic plan on how and what's going on. The one thing that we started as staff meetings is instead of just do a regurgitation of what's coming up, we're focusing on student engagement. That's going to be the big picture thing that we're going to do. Our first 2 meetings happened earlier this month. Very positive things coming out of that. If you would like to stop in my office, you can see all the chart paper that we used to go over that. And in the office, it's what do we want out of a bold student to be engaged. So that's all up in there. If you guys ever want to stop in there and take a look, a lot of positive things going on in our building. If you walk up and down our halls, you're going to see all the amazing things that are going on. I put just a couple pictures on the back side of those for you guys. Different grade levels, just on what's going on. My goal is to do 3 positive social media posts a week on just what's going on in our building. To just get out the word of what we're doing here, so we can control that narrative a little bit. When I share this with you guys on the Google Drive, the document that I handed out, there's the copy of it says Brett Benson. That'll be it's called an individual career development plan. So of what the goals and what the teachers are working on, that'll go to me, but I can kind of highlight what all of our goals we're working on this year. So that can be given to you. Positive, we are up 29 students since the start of the year. Students just seem to keep coming. That's a great problem to have. It's just every day we seem to have 1 or 2 show up, which is good, but that is something that's come up too. So
Massages?
chair massages, yeah. once a month.
We're all staff too, right?
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there.
I don't know. It's just,
Okay.
They need it more.
Yes, touche. That's very cool.
so. Any questions?
How's getting subs?
It's interesting. I've been in the classroom quite a bit this year. Everybody's in the same boat.
Okay.
The issue around the state. So that's gonna be something that we have to continue to work on. And I don't have the right answer for that.
If anybody knows of anyone that would like to sub, and seriously, we did put out a call last year. I put that out, and we had several people get their sub licenses after that. So
Might be worth it again.
maybe we
Yep.
could do that
We'll
again.
talk about that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, enclosure number 3 is our activities report, and I don't think Mr. Plan is here, but if you have any questions.
I have one, and I'm not sure if any of, or if you can even answer this. Where are we on the track? Like with that season coming up, not too far, and winter going to be before it. I mean, here's the thing: we're spending a lot on other things, and we need to take care of that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not going to house anything here.
Lindsay and I have been talking about different options
Okay.
with the track. I've contacted Baker Tilly, some municipal advisors who work with schools when they go out for a bond on something like this. It's definitely something that's going to happen. It, we're ideally, we roll this in with a referendum and get it all approved that way. It's a project that wouldn't technically need taxpayer approval, but I don't like doing that unless it's a last resort. So hopefully we can see that pass. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to use the track.
Correct. Yeah, it's just a concern that I
Yeah.
wanted to bring up just to see where we're.
Do we have
Thank you.
bids on it? The fix, is it fix, can it be fixed or has to be replaced?
It's- be
It's got to
replaced.
be replaced. They got to dig way down.
Mhm. It's pretty
Now,
bad.
we went through this once already. Can it be fixed?
Yeah,
Is that
well,
something,
Right.
yeah, that's a good question. I know nothing about making a track.
well, I mean, I don't know, maybe there's
I'll,
a company that could come and assess it.
I know we've had a track company out, and that's what we've been told. I don't know. Ellie, have you guys heard anything on that at all? I don't know. I don't think you have anything to do with the track, but
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, part of it's just spending good money after bad. All the damage it's done to it is because the base is eroded and the base needs, like you said, they need to dig out and rebuild it. I don't know if it can be fixed. It probably can be duct tape and bubble gum together, but again, it's spending good money after bad.
I know I looked at, Denny showed me one spot where he poured close to 5 gallons of sand into a crack to fill that before they can paste the top. So I'm shocked that he got that much sand in it, but it's, yeah.
I have a question too. So when they are done the right way, do you have issues with cracks and expansion and stuff because they are in the state of Minnesota and we do have extreme cold and extreme heat? What's the lifetime on one that's completely redone? And do you have to constantly repair that too because of the
You have
expansion?
to, so the thing is, you're absolutely right, you have a freeze cycle, right? So the idea is to get, it's called a sub base, and probably dig down and get a good 2-3 feet of a good sub base around the whole thing. Once you do that, it minimizes the movement, but you still need to do a surface recoating, probably every 5 to 6 years, 5, 6, 7 years. And you can do that cycle about 3 times, and then the track needs to be stripped off, and you can lay the rubber over it again. So if you really want to, so the assessment, our civil engineers that we brought in had the same assessment that the sub base was never designed properly. To be absolutely positively sure, you could have soil borings done, in case they come in a little hard and they'll bore and basically show you what's under that track. Because if the track is only as good as what's underneath it,
So can they fix the track without messing up the football field?
yes,
They can.
yes.
All right. Anything else? All right, moving on to school board committee report. Does anyone have anything from a committee meeting they've attended or?
We have not had any committee meetings since last meeting. We have scheduled a facilities committee meeting for November 3rd.
And we went on
you
that
just-
treasure hunt.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Thank you, Sandy.
All right, yeah, so
Treasure hunt.
Sandy and I did get into the mysterious safety deposit box that hadn't been accessed since 2010. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Uh,
I think.
Yeah. We did not find gold doubloons. or
Yeah,
anything.
But they're telling us.
No money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just deeds and
Yeah,
papers, titles.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun though.
We got pictures of all this stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna email that out, I completely forgot.
Yeah, it was interesting
Yeah,
to look. I mean, there was paper from way back when,
20s.
yeah, back in the 20s.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a disc in there of students from, was it 19 or 1803?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
18.
it was way back. This little disc, and it looked like an old reel, a movie reel
Oh,
with
yeah. Like a microfiche.
Yeah.
or-
with attendance papers and students information on from way back when, and there was obviously no way we could look at that because we didn't even have the machine.
Yeah, I don't know if
But it was
is there a machine that we can
I don't
use?
even know, but that was kind of
For
neat.
some reason, somebody wanted to keep that.
Yeah,
Something.
I mean, it was years. There was quite a few years on there too.
Yeah,
It was kind of different, but yeah, it was kind of a fun little treasure hunt. Just go check it out.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I do have one update. I think, well, I know this afternoon I emailed you all with, we did our goal session last, and I finally got it typed up. So check your emails, please, and let me know if what I wrote was sufficient or if I need some different wording or what on our Mr. Men's goals and our goals. So that's what I've got. Anything else? All right, moving on. Pool report, enclosure number 4. And you guys have not met? So if you have any questions, please contact Tracy. All right, letter F, Nexus Solutions report.
Thanks for having us tonight. We're excited to present this to you. I'm Ellie Gilliam. I have Russ Schumacher, one of the principals of Nexus. Hans Knoll, he did the development of the project. Mike David, another one of the principals, and Brent Jones, another one of the principals of Nexus, with me tonight. So, see if that's there.
Do you want the camera?
All right.
Yeah, continue with the camera.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Lights on, lights on. Mhm. We're getting close, Jill.
Yeah, you can just lift the, there you go. It's like a little split.
They tell me if it's.
Yeah, once you walk like really far towards it. Yeah, like twice that. Like a little, like,
Like more.
make it go up a little bit.
Thanks for coming to present this.
Yeah.
And do our job for us.
How we doing?
That's okay.
Thank you.
All right, so the agenda for tonight, kind of review the planning process, go over the staff survey, the facility condition assessment, the educational adequacy, some of the options we've come up with, and then next steps. So you have seen this slide before. We broke this into 3 phases originally. So phase 1 was the strategic plan. Phase 2 is what is basically coming to an end tonight. And then you'll see as a later agenda item for you guys tonight is the approval of phase 3. So phase 1, like I mentioned, was the strategic plan. And it was a community-based plan with like 25 to 30 community members that put it together. And it really kind of brings together, facilities kind of have a hand in all of it, really, if you look at it, with the achievement and opportunity, the recruitment and retention, safety and wellness, and then the facilities and maintenance. And those were your 4 key things that you pulled out of the strategic plan. Phase 2 is the comprehensive assessment. And that was with the staff survey that we did. We also brought in 16 different consultants from 8 firms, kind of looking at, inside, outside of your building. And then the educational adequacy that we looked at too. We met with your admin team and your staff, and also the facility committee. With that, I just kind of wanted to go, I've shown the staff survey insight, so I just wanted to do just kind of a quick overview of what came out of that. So from May 25th through June 1st, we did a 60-question survey of the staff. There were 44 people that responded, and that's about a 65% participation rate, which is great. And kind of the things that kind of came out of it, some of the highest ones, safe and secure environment, which is great that everyone feels safe and secure. Comfortable and flexible furniture, and then the athletic fields and playgrounds came out as the highest. The lowest, as a summary of the lowest, kind of the 21st century learning for the building is what came in lowest. Like being flexible and having different spaces to teach in and everything, basically modernizing your school. And with that, I will hand it over to Hans.
So again, as opposed to Brent, who's going to speak in a bit about remodels and additions, Russ and I are going to talk for the next 5 minutes about facility condition as it applies to this building if you guys did nothing else. As Ellie said, we brought about 16 consultants in. They were looking at things like IT, roofing, building exterior, heating and cooling, site items. So that's, again, what we'll talk about. Just know that We've got a report at the end of this presentation to give you folks, and we hope that you'll be impressed with the amount of time that we put into it, that our consultants put in it, and it provides a lot of value for you making decisions as we move forward. That's the intent. Russell?
As far as some of the mechanical stuff, which is what my team looked at, obviously at the high school you utilize steam to heat most of the school except for your late 90s additions. The boilers here actually are fairly new. They were installed in 2014. They have 20 plus years of life left in them. We recommend converting them from steam to hot water and putting in high efficiency burners and get the rest of the useful life out of these boilers. And then obviously change out the steam piping throughout the building, move it to hot water so you can get more comfortable spaces, reduce chemical consumption, reduce maintenance, improve occupant comfort. And then along with that goes the air handling units. You have some that range from 50 to 70 years old. Obviously, they've seen the end of their useful life, changing them from steam to hot water. Now's the time to completely change those out. Get double wall units where you can clean the inside of them. They're more efficient. They distribute the air better. And in some cases in the 70s areas, you have ductwork, which usually is galvanized for new modern buildings. In this case, a lot of it is duct board, which is fiberglass that's basically just molded into a rectangle to distribute the air. And through the years, this ductwork is just basically taped together. You know, you can actually look above the ceiling and it starts to come apart and you lose airflow and it isn't distributed to the space. Along with having exposed fiberglass to the air streams is something that you typically shy away from these days. So we're replacing not only the air handling units, but the associated duct distribution systems as well. Along with that goes the control systems. You know, in some cases you have Andover direct digital controls or new electronic type controls, but in a lot of the school you still use antiquated pneumatics, which uses air that basically distributes through piping and actually opens and closes your thermostats, believe it or not, actually compressed air. So switching that to direct digital control will allow you to not only schedule your units better, provide better occupant comfort, but allow your maintenance staff to actually see your system remotely through the internet, through a web-based system. Air handling units, we'd also add cooling to the ones that where cooling would be desired, utilize a direct expansion type system, and basically reuse your 1990s vintage air handling units. Those have 20 years left in them as well. Clean them up, get any exposed fiberglass out of the airstream, put in closed cell insulation so it can be cleaned, and then get another 20 years out of those.
A couple other items from an electrical perspective. A lot of the panels are still original to the 60s, 70s, 80s vintages of the building. So as you can imagine, there's still 50-year-old equipment. That picture in the lower right is your service particularly. We'd like to get that replaced. This is something that, you know, if they fail, they're going to be expensive, if not impossible, to find parts for. So this is something you want to get replaced as part of a planned replacement versus something that breaks and then your potential for downtime within the building. Fire alarm system. This is an older fire alarm system here. Anything we do here is going to bring you guys back up to code. Likely anything you touch in the future from a remodel perspective, we're going to have to upgrade that fire alarm system anyways. In the lower left corner, ADA, there's a number of ADA compliance issues from knobs on door handles to incompliant stair railings. What we're showing here is a number of the bathrooms don't have wheelchair radius for some of the stalls, for some of the urinals, some of the sinks. So that's a majority of the bathrooms, with the exception of this 1999 edition that was done. Moving on, still at this building, you know, a couple pictures on the interior finishes. Obviously, there's some ceiling tiles that are yellow, that are drooping from age. Some floor tiles that are chipping away. They don't match. Like to get those replaced. From a site perspective, we talked about the track, which we know is at the end of its useful life. On the again, the left side, we're showing a lot of drainage issues out, particularly this direction to the elementary parking or elementary playground, to the stadium area. So we've got solutions for those, and you'll see those in the report. Last thing on the right there is some facade cracking. I'm sure some of you guys have seen that at the pool. Certainly the oldest section of the building's got some of the older limestone bricks that have cracked severely and really need some TLC. The problem with that is water gets in it, it freezes, thaws, it breaks, it exacerbates the issue. So that's something we really want to nip in the bud throughout the entire school. Bird Island.
Bird Island, very similar system, obviously with steam. You've patched the boiler to get you through the winter here. The newer one actually has increasing more problems as well, just because of the humidity in there that constantly fails. So obviously upgrading that system from steam to hot water, again, for all the reasons you do it at the middle and high school, and then also upgrading the air handling units as well. I mean, you have some real old ones, especially in the gymnasium there. And actually the small gym doesn't have any ventilation at all. So giving that the code required outdoor air as well as air circulation will make that space a lot more useful. Controls, again, would be upgraded from pneumatic to DDCs. And then the unit ventilators, which are the small self-contained units that are in the classrooms, we recommend replacing those with new unit ventilators that would be larger than you currently have, so they would operate quieter than the existing. So additionally, at both sites, there's some plumbing items too that you'll see in the report. These are just kind of some highlights. At both sites, you have galvanized plumbing, which is distributing your domestic water. It's basically steel piping that has a zinc coating, and over the years, that zinc will flake off, and the piping actually rusts from the inside out. So replacing that with insulated modern copper lines would be part of the project as well.
Outside of the mechanical items that Russ spoke about, a lot of the same stuff over at that building that this building has in different vintages. In the upper left there, you can see that's some spline ceiling tile that's obviously had some water damage. Again, want to get that updated and looking proper. On the lower left, asphalt, that's that hardscape playground area that's really past its useful life and needs to be rebuilt, resurfaced. But again, this building's got similar ADA deficiencies. And you guys are investing in some of the roof over there. There's still some other roof sections that really should be addressed in the next 3 to 5 years. So, Russ and I have spent the last 5 minutes going through this. Again, much of this is in the report and more. There's about 90 discrete line items talking about updates that we would present or that we would recommend throughout both these buildings outside of, any additions and remodels that Brent will talk about in a minute. Any questions, comments? As we keep moving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You didn't pass these already, because when you read sit and flip and not listen to us.
Smart move.
You know us all too well.
Yeah. So educational adequacy, we've talked about this before in other update meetings I've had with the full board and the facility committee. Again, what do we mean by, wrong correction? Sorry. What do we mean by educational adequacy? It's really the modernization of the building, right? How well does the building facilitate your main purpose of educating students? And what needs to be renovated, what needs to be reorganized and remodeled. Ellie talked about what we learned coming from the survey. We really dig into the survey. We gave everyone open-ended questions at the very end. What would you like to see improved about your building? This captures a lot of them. Plus, this is a lot of, in our meetings with the staff, we had 3 different staff meetings, I believe. And I don't need to read all these. You can see them in the report. But the whole intent here is, you'll see in our solutions here that we're a firm believer in reinvigorating and remodeling your current building and really making it to an equivalent of a new school. You're not giving up anything by rejuvenating what you have. And all these items here are being addressed in our ultimate solution. So jumping into options. I want to ground everybody because invariably people are going to try to compare this to the referendum you went out for in early 2021, right? Your question Q1, you got 2 questions, but your first question, which was trying to make this as apples as I can, was reinvesting in this site, or excuse me, in a new school, excuse me. It was 57.3 million, question 1. When you exclude the 2.5 you had in there for Bird Island economic development money. So this is just really what you were spending on construction was 57.3. Challenge is, if you look at the right, there's a graph that Mortensen Company actually does, and I use this one because they actually track Minneapolis as an individual city. You can see right here, it doesn't work in the screen. You can see right here in 2021 and see what happened in construction inflation. We've all felt that in our own household budgets, right? Gas and what have you, but the construction, since early 2021 through the end of 2022, construction inflation has gone up about 30%, right? So unfortunately, your question one today would cost about $75 million. So in a way, you were fortunate it didn't pass, because had you passed it when you did and then gone through the design cycle and then bid it out, that's right when that inflation took off, you would probably had a $10 million problem. And there's no way you would have been able to do it brought it on budget. So in a way that worked out in your favor, I guess. So again, that new school solution that you're looking at also didn't have anything to do with the pool, which our solution has a pool in there. It had much less work being done on site as far as the stadium and site corrections and drainage and all of that. And it was also provided less square footage space for your students. And it didn't, question one didn't include anything regarding Bird Island rejuvenation. So just trying to kind of get that question answered right off the bat, what construction inflation has done. We've seen some signs of it leveling off from inflation. We will continue to monitor it from now until whenever you go to referendum and let you know if any adjustments need to be made on your referendum question. But it has been, since I've been doing this for 30 years, it's been on, well, you can see this graph here went back to 2009 and how nice and linear inflation ran until the spike that we've all seen. So grounding you, this is the floor plan of the Olivia building we're getting right today. The picture on the left is your existing space usage. Picture on the right shows you the areas that we're proposing to, the solutions you're going to see here, proposed demolition. Primarily the upper left, the light gray area there, your older sections of the building, we recommend, based on our facility condition assessment, it's not worth reinvesting in that spaces. Your money is better spent on new construction there. So a big portion of these solutions has a lot of new construction in it. So other areas in white would be rejuvenated and renovated, and some of them repurposed. And one of the solutions, option D, that we were asked, the facility committee asked us to look at a fourth option. And that option, we'd actually, you'll see in a moment, we'd actually demo the elementary wing as well. Bird Island, again, picture on the left is the way the building was used when it was still a school. Picture on the right, the three options demo everything on the eastern half, gray, light gray, and dark gray. One of the options, option C, actually has us reusing the northeast 1956 or 56 classroom wing. So you'll see that in a moment. So I just want to give you an understand where we're talking demolition and new construction versus renovation. So jumping into it, option A, again, you've seen these before. I don't need to go into huge detail here. The red dotted line, again, shows the outline of what would be demolished and built new. So here, option A, Olivia would be house all your educational functions here. So early childhood through 12th grade. The pool would be rejuvenated. You get a new wrestling on the northeast corner there, new wrestling multi-purpose room, 2 new locker rooms, plus a visitor locker room, training area, and coaches' offices. Pool lockers would just be refreshed and stay where they're at. The gym, the main large gym here, we would take out the top loading fixed seating, because we're demoing those locker rooms underneath there anyway, and we put floor loaded retractable bleachers on the west side of the gym. We can't do it on the east side where that stage is, because half of that stage covers a mechanical room that has a higher ceiling that serves all your air handlers and everything for your pool. So that east side has to stay as is. But we can eliminate the top loading, get rid of your elevator, because the demolition we're proposing gets rid of the 2-story science area and choir area. So kind of wrapping around the north side there, moving towards the west, proposing new receiving, new mechanicals, boiler room, new kitchen. Then we've got a middle school area there, which would have your 5th, 6th grade plus breakout space plus a middle school sped area, staff lounge, continuing down kind of counterclockwise around the Olivia building there. New band and choir and a music room for the elementary students. We've also shown a 350-seat auditorium with a stage and obviously the ancillary support spaces, green rooms, dressing rooms, scene storage, things of that nature. Again, as I mentioned before, we'll do the testing with the public. That may be part of question one, maybe second question. We'll have to see what the public says. Library stays where it is. New commons, cafeteria / commons. And then a new front entrance there by the new fitness area. We're putting it by the front door. We're proposing to put it by the front door. So in case you want to open it up to the public, the health/YMCA area, classroom up front, and a new safe, secure entrance into the consolidated main office there in the tan on the east side. Classroom wings would be remodeled and reconfigured as needed. This solution here, the elementary stays kind of where it is. We are building in some flex spaces in case you have a grade bubble come through that needs 3 sections. You've got that space. We've got some breakout space for the middle school, high school, and elementary. We've got appropriate special ed space programmed in. And then the edition we're in here now, the 99 edition, would primarily stay, this option, early childhood stays where it is, get them some storage if they drastically need. The elementary rooms are a little small, they're 750 square feet. We're getting dedicated storage rooms for them so they can get some of the stuff out of their classrooms and give more space to students. This gym here is in good shape, not much being done there. One thing we did here, one small change since the last time we met was the toilets. There was a big discussion about your shared toilets right above that south gym. They don't want the elementary and high school kids sharing the restrooms anymore. So they want a set of high school toilets on the high school wing. We had them kind of on the upper right corner of that small gym, but we talked about it and said, a good idea was brought up to, let's put them on the far southeast corner. You see there, the 2 gray little T's there. And that way we can set them up so they could also be accessed from the stadium. So we'd open that up. So during a game, people could actually, you still have, obviously have your portable restrooms, but people want to come in and they can, not that long a walk, they can come in and use those. And then we'd have a vestibule there so you can lock it off. So you get into the restrooms, but you can't get into the rest of the school during an event at the stadium. Bird Island. So I should say option A, you can invest just in Olivia and you don't have to do anything to Bird Island, or you can do as much as you want to Bird Island. In this particular option A for Bird Island, we're showing keeping it as used as a performance space for athletics and plays and musicals and things of that nature. So we've got rejuvenated stage floor, new rigging and curtains for the stage, updated sound system for the stage, updated lighting for the stage to help make that your performance space. Again, that plays on depending if that auditorium question or not, right? So you wouldn't invest in both spaces. If you build an auditorium and that gets passed, we wouldn't do that to the stage there. So we'll work, make sure there's no double dip. Gymnasium would be refreshed. The main thing here is 2 new locker rooms. The east half of Bird Island, the 3-story section needs to come down again. That is not worth spending any money on. You'd need money ahead to knock it down and to, if need be, replace it with new. But right now we're saying demo the 56 classroom wing, which is unneeded, and this model, and the kitchen office cafeteria on the southeast corner. So two new locker rooms, excuse me. 2 new lobby area, new concessions, new toilets to serve gymnasium events. We have some theater support / storage space in the building. And then the southwest corner there in the light green is labeled as community. That could be community use, community center. It could be senior citizen center. It could be a public-private partnership. It could be part of an island hub solution. Not really programmed in this option. It's to be determined what you would use that for. Option B is very, very, very similar to option A. The only real difference is it says, okay, so how much space if we kept that west side of Bird Island, instead of using that green space for community use, what if we use it for early childhood? Okay, and what that does, it puts a educational component back into Bird Island. You still get your new locker rooms and other things I talked about. What that means to Olivia is kindergarten, then move down into the early childhood. You get nice large kindergarten rooms. And it would allow us to take the elementary wing over here and expand the classrooms from 750 square feet to your more typical 900 square feet. So that's the real benefit. It gives you a little more room to the elementary side, and again, an educational purpose to Bird Island. Okay, option C is what we were asked to look at is what if we make Bird Island, if that became a school again? So Olivia would continue to house early childhood because you got these rooms that are designed for early childhood or kindergarten across the way here. You should utilize them as such. And then 5 through 12 would stay here at Olivia. K4, what would it take to fit K4 into Bird Island? So again, the western half, you can see would be rejuvenated and reused and repurposed. The dashed area, red box there would be where we demo the old sections of the building. We built a new office reception entry area on the southeast side there, new commons / cafeteria, new kitchen receiving and new toilets. And then the areas in green would be the 1956 classroom being reused and rejuvenated. Okay. And then the fourth option we looked at, we met with the facility committee, they asked us to look at the fourth option here, was what would it take to make Bird Island early childhood through 6th grade? So Bird Island, again, the west side would be repurposed and rejuvenated. The east side, everything would be knocked down, including the 56 wing, and you'd have to do a 2-story addition there to fit all the classes, right? Because you're taking away that 3-story section. To fit that many grade levels in there, you'd have to do a new section on the right here, would have to be 2 stories, and the classrooms stacked on top of each other. That really leaves Olivia only to serve 7 through 12, and you'd have an excess amount of square footage there. So you could leave that elementary wing and just abandon it in place. But I thought, again, this is a long-term, multi-generational solution, so we'd recommend you just demo that section of the building. All these solutions, again, are just purely conceptual. Really gets you to think about grade configurations and how much you want to invest in each site. Again, the designs aren't done. There would be design committees, public staff, everyone would be involved in it, and before we actually put this out to bid. From a site perspective, remember the site here is long and narrow, so it didn't fit on the screen this way. So that's your upper left picture there is your northern half of your site here. Your right picture is your southern half. Working with the facility committee, we're looking at, right now you have about 153, I think, or 57 parking stalls. Here we would expand the parking to the south, get you up about 250 student parking here. That's just student staff, visitors, what have you. That would really help, especially when you have events at your football stadium. When we do that, if we put the new entrance on the east side of the building, we change where the monument sign is. We would change wayfinding here so people can find the front door, flag poles, all of that. We're proposing to have a drive in and then another loop out to help facilitate parent drop off, and busing could be still on the west side. One thing is your front door is changing here. You got your newer maintenance shed building here. We're proposing to move that kind of across the parking lot over to this location. Again, get it away from the front door and help facilitate the traffic flow on site. Picture on the right shows your southern half, basically your stadium. So we've talked about new track, a lot of pavement broken on, and then redoing the pathway down there. Some of the broken concrete around your grandstand. The red box there would be a new concession stand. So we're actually proposing a 2,000 square foot building there would be concessions in a team room. So your home team, typically the visitors usually go into the bus or the end zone if it's warm out still. But our request, again, all these things are things that you can pick or choose, but they did ask us, we were asked to look at putting a concession stand there and a home team room there. A home team room would, it'd have some heat in it, a restroom in there and things of that nature. Fixing the drainage issues, as Hans talked about, so this doesn't become a lake out here by the playground. Drainage, as you walk towards the stadium, that would be taken care of. Everything brought to cisterns, if you would, and then piped over to the city storm. So it doesn't have to, the water doesn't have to drain overland. You want to get it piped underground so everything can stay dry. Do some ADA accessibility to the playground. Fencing. We're proposing fencing around your entire stadium. And then we got some fencing around your track. So you want to keep the people, you'll come in your ticket booth, walk in the stadium, you're fenced in, but then there's also lower fencing around the track. So you separate the spectator from the performance areas or the athletic areas around there. We do have in this plan right now in the budget you're going to see in a moment here. We also, I should say, at the lower right-hand corner of the stadium, we're showing a small little parking lot there. That would be for your referees, your ambulance, your visitor bus, everything down there, and you even maybe have some ADA parking there if you wanted. The budgets you're going to see here in a moment. New lighting, I should talk about. New lighting, new scoreboard is in the plan. Really rejuvenating your stadium. I got all the for your long jump pit, triple jump, pole vault, all that would be redone. We also have in here stormwater management. You add parking or hard surfaces. You can probably expand your stormwater management. That pond that's in the trees there, I'm told was man-made, but you still have to have a wetland delineation done, and we could do that now. It's probably $300 to $3,500. You never know how those wetland delineations go. They might find something that you can't touch. So I have money in there at this stage to do a second pond. And money in the budget right now that we can talk about later is if you decide that expanding the parking there really makes that practice green space unusable, and you need more practice space in all the grades stayed here, you want to look at maybe purchasing adjacent land to the stadium here and expanding a little bit to give you more practice area and give you space for that additional wetland pond. Again, that's all in the budgets that we'll continue to refine with you over the coming months. Bird Island sites, if we knock down the east side, basically from the 3-story section in the lake area there, everything to the east, we're basically proposing to put a parking lot in there. You're still going to you don't have parking around that site at all. If you're going to continue to use that gym for performances and athletic events, let's get some entry vestibules on the east side of the remaining building and new parking in there. And of course, the security lighting and all that. For solutions that make this site a school again, we did have money in there to do some more new fencing around the playground and upgrade the playground as needed, depending on what grades would get housed there. So, multi-million-dollar questions, what do they all cost? Again, these are the budgets. Our job is to make sure you have budgets to get your projects done. And you're not you don't run out of money. All the construction work would be bid out, get you the best possible price. Option A, the Olivia, to rejuvenate Olivia to the Lakeland School and do all the stadium work we've talked about. It's about $55.8 million. Again, compare that to about $74.5 if you replace that with a new a new building. So we can basically give you a Lakeland School, more space like you had, a pool, everything you had in question 1 before, for roughly $20 million less from a renovation standpoint. Bird Island, the way it's currently configured, doing all the work that Russ and Hans talked about, from the boiler plant to the steam piping to the galvanized piping to the electrical service, everything, re-roofing the barrel roof, and then the new locker rooms, everything that adds up. And then the parking lot adds about $8.8 million. And then you can kind of go across there. Option B, you can look at, kind of compare Olivia to Olivia and then Bird Island to Bird Island. You can kind of see how it works. Obviously, options C and D have more and more new construction at Bird Island, so it's naturally more expensive. Okay. You see a note on the very bottom there, construction inflation allowance, again, TBD. All I meant there is these are the numbers that you could do this work in the current marketplace. I'm basically projecting to do it next year, but if you go to an election next year, depending on when you go, you might not be bidding this until 2024. We will continue to monitor the market and see if we need to make any adjustments. But again, this is with everything that we've talked about selected or in here. Well, our plan is to work with the facility committee and do a deep dive and just do some picking and choosing. Our goal is to make this as affordable as possible. There might be some scope that can be eliminated through more discussions, but this is our starting point, and that's how I want you to look at it.
Okay, so as Brent said, really the options, A through D, there's any number of options. This is a starting point of just kind of saying, here's 4 options to start with. We presented you a lot of information tonight. Now it's a matter of how do we convert that information to an actionable plan? A plan ultimately that the community is going to support, and something that can be designed and built. And there's a number of steps that go into that. That's all part of phase 3, but just kind of giving you an idea of the work involved there. First is, as Brent talked about, a lot of time, a deep dive needs to be spent on refining the scope of each individual option, and then the associated budgets. So if we're adding scope in or taking scope out, obviously the numbers fluctuate. We really, the district, I know that you've been contemplating on hiring a financial advisor, or otherwise known as a municipal advisor. That's someone, an entity that we really do need to add to the team. We've got strong financial tools, but we want to have that third party that can give guidance in terms of what the actual tax impact is going to be, because there's 2 components of any plan. There's what, in terms of cost, there's what does the plan cost overall, and what does it cost the taxpayer, okay? And both are important. It's more important, what does it cost the taxpayer, okay? Something that we obviously need to be very, very sensitive to. We also, hopefully, what you've learned working with the Nexus team over the last 6 months or so is we're very process oriented, very thorough, like to gather a lot of input, and then try to help you discern what does that input mean. So we want to continue to do that in terms of soliciting community input, and that can be done a number of different ways. We've had community open houses, we've had World Cafe sessions. We form facility task forces, okay, that allow us kind of function as a sounding board and give the facilities committee as well as the board information on what people like and dislike about the various options. We would also look to do a community survey, and the survey, I think in your past attempts, you've done some write-in surveys. What we would be talking about here is a statistically accurate public opinion survey done by phoning. Okay. In order to do this, though, we would test various aspects of the plan, but we also need to get it down to at most 2 options. And it doesn't mean that you're limiting yourselves to 2 options, but to have an accurate survey, we're only able to do that with 2. And then again, by testing the various aspects, we might find that it's still a hybrid of one of those 2 options. We would use all of that information to help us finalize the master facility plan that will ultimately be approved by the board. We then move into a formal community engagement program where we're energizing the community in terms of supporting a potential referendum. We would assist you with development of communications collateral and overall referendum strategy and support. And then once the plan is fully approved by the community, we move into design and construction. So things that really where this all starts with, though, is kind of a process. I'm laying out kind of all the work here. We want to work with you on what's the process and then the associated timeline that you're comfortable with. Okay. When we put a timeline together, it doesn't mean that you're not able to tap the brakes. If it's ever feeling like it's going too fast, we're able to slow it down. But without a common timeline, we're not able to keep everybody on a common process. So we want to, that's one of the first things is here's all there's even more, but here's all the major work that has to happen now. What's the process and the timeline? Second is, are we going to be working directly with the facilities committee and then reporting to the board, or is this going to be direct with the board? And this is, you don't need to answer this tonight, but these are some things that we need to talk through. And then going back to when I talked about the community input, are we going to form? We've had a lot of our clients have formed facility task forces. Consisting of board members, of course, staff, but then a lot of community members, very similar to what you did with the strategic planning effort. And again, that would be a group that maybe could report, give feedback to the facilities committee, who then ultimately could report to the board. But the first step here is you had asked us way back when is that you wanted us to complete the study. We did that. And then if you want us to go forward, that would be approval authorizing us to move forward with phase 3. With that, questions? We did such a thorough job.
No, I have a question. So like, in those plans, we haven't really had a chance to visit or talk about what if we wanted multiple tech classes in the high school?
Yeah.
Over and above than what we already have here. What if we want to offer more?
Yeah.
How does that fit into those
And
classrooms?
those are great things to review in detail by the facility committee level. We do have money in there to read, because right now, like we used to be a weight room and there used to be a music room over there. Now there's a music room there now, right? Elementary music over there, sorry. So we are given more square footage to the career and tech, and we do have money in there to remodel that space and give you more program space there if you want to expand your offerings. So that is in there.
And Brent had mentioned this, but a key then is we would go into a deep dive on all this, and then kind of look at every individual line item and say, did we assume too much or too little, and all that can be adjusted.
Yeah, because those pictures aren't etched in stone, you just modify it.
Right, yeah.
It's everything's in pencil.
With big fat erasers.
That was good, thank you.
Thank you
Is
very
this,
much.
I mean, is this kind of what you had in mind? Did we get close to. And, not in terms of solutions, but the amount of information, keeping in mind that for a board meeting, we kept it pretty high level. All the
Yeah.
details are in the booklets. You haven't seen those yet. Was this, so I don't know what you had, I'm not sure
Yeah.
what you had expected.
Absolutely.
No,
That was way more than I
Very
expected
good.
from you.
That was good to
have Last all
options
time.
and Rhode
Last-
options and all
didn't
that.
get anything
So people
last
can
time.
figure out what they want.
We didn't even get booked, we didn't get nothing.
We are, we have a lot of people that have spent a lot of time, so, they love it when they get asked questions. So,
It was very nice to see kind of a
Yes.
floor plan, to kind of see a
Yeah.
concept of what it could be, knowing that it can be changed, but
Right.
just something that you can see on paper.
it's something to at least
Very
start
helpful.
discussing.
Right.
Yeah, and actually see with some of the numbers, instead of just giving us a number and say, here, we kind of have some sort of a vision, I like that.
Very well done.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, new business. Letter A, approve the resolution of governing board support application to the Minnesota State High School League Foundation for a grant to offset student activity fees. This is enclosure number 5. So it's a resolution, so here we go. Resolution of governing board supporting Form A, application to Minnesota State High School League Foundation. Whereas the Minnesota State High School League Foundation was formed to provide support for Minnesota's high school youth to participate in athletics and fine arts. Whereas the governing board of Bold recognizes the value of student participation in extracurricular activities, and whereas the Minnesota State High School League Foundation is offering grants and funding to assist schools in recognizing, promoting, and funding extracurricular participation by high school students in athletic and fine arts programs. Therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of Bold supports the school's application for the Minnesota State High School League Foundation for a Form A grant to offset student activity fees. So we will do a motion and a second, and then we will vote like we usually do for a resolution by polling the board. So I will make the motion.
Second.
Motion is made by Hanson, seconded by Boleen. And any discussion or questions on this? All right, hearing nothing. Sandy, how would you like to vote?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Myself, I am also an aye, so motion carries. Letter B, approve Nexus Solutions to move on to phase 3 of master planning.
So move Boleen. I'll second.
Motion's made by Boleen, seconded by Bookto. Any questions or discussion? It's exciting.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else? Hearing nothing else, we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Letter C is not the first reading, it's the only reading. I'm not going to read it. But this is policy 722, public data and data subject requests. And as Mr. Menton had mentioned, thank you guys.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Drive safe.
As Mr. Menton had mentioned, everything in red is added. It's a state. Right, so it was all
Yeah,
state.
this is all state language, yeah.
Things that we have to add. So
So move.
motion's made by Boleen,
I'll second it.
seconded by Bowen. Any discussion or questions on anything? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Letter D, approve the Old Bannon Choir trip to Disney World, April 13th, April 16th of 2023.
Only if they take me with.
So moved.
I'll
I
second.
don't think we
Go
can
ahead.
make that part of
You-
the.
I would done last week.
Sorry.
second.
Motion is made by Bowen, seconded by Bookdell. And we will not make the caveat that Jamie gets to go with, so. Sorry. Any other discussion or questions on this? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on, number 9, upcoming dates. Letter A, November 28th of 2022, school board meeting at 7 PM in the district office.
That's my
And
birthday.
That's your birthday? Well,
Celebrate.
bring you some cookies or something. So, happy birthday. Early. All right, moving on, number 10, adopt a resolution to acknowledge gifts, grants, and bequests. Disclosure number 7. So, member Hanson introduced the following resolution and moved its adoption. Whereas the Minnesota Vikings have generously donated $195 to the Bold Activities account, whereas the United Way of West Central Minnesota has generously donated $13,000 to the Bold Little Warrior preschool program. Therefore, be it resolved by the Bold School Board to gratefully accept these gifts. The motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member Bookto, and upon vote being taken thereon, the following voted in favor thereof. Mr. Bowen.
Aye.
Tracy.
Aye.
Jamie.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Teresa.
Aye.
Sandy.
Aye.
And I myself, I am an aye. The foregoing resolution was approved this day, 24th day of October of 2022.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So at this time, we are going to go into closed session to talk about labor negotiations. And I've done this a while. I don't know if we need a motion in a second, but we're going to do it. So I will make the motion.
Second.
Jamie will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. So, and that's at 8:16.
Does anybody need us to sign your forms? If you do, you
So
can
we'll
bring it
just-
up.
Yeah,
here.
we'll just take a
Come on
couple
up.
minutes to do that.
Come on
and
up.
We are good for the night.
Is this for Miss Gross's class?
Yeah.
I'm so gonna tell her you weren't here.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Thank you. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
You just need one, so you're good.
Hey.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, guys.
Good.
Thanks for coming.
Did you get his butt this thing together?
Yeah, only because those chairs are harder than rocks.
Yeah.
Lily Dean, are you whining?
No.
Girl, that wasn't even a long meeting.
Longer than the last one.
You should really come to the one that lasts 5 minutes.